All right, it is Monday, April 15th, 2024, and it is 6:01, and we do have a quorum present, so we're going to go ahead and start this meeting. Denise is going to do the Pledge of Allegiance for us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Denise. Janie is going to read our board mission statement.
Through high expectations and equitable opportunity, TMISD will focus on the whole child by providing a safe environment and high-quality curriculum with diverse and enriching experiences.
Thank you, Janie. All right, our next item on the list is public comment open forum. Public comments at regular board meetings will be conducted in accordance with board policy BED. At meetings other than regular board meetings, public comments are limited to items on the posted meeting notice and agenda. At regular meetings, public comments are allowed on any topic regardless of whether the topic is an item on the agenda posted with the notice of the meeting. Comments shall be heard at the beginning of the board meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, except that non-English speakers requiring a translator are limited to 6 minutes. The presiding officer may modify or waive these time limits as appropriate. Public comment shall not be used for personal attacks by the speaker against district employees or students. Speakers who engage in personal attacks or using insulting, profane, threatening, or abusive language during any board meeting shall be ruled out of order by the presiding board officer and may be escorted from the board meeting room. Any concerns or complaints regarding individual district employees, students, or parents must be resolved via the appropriate complaint process as stated in Board Policy BED Local. Pursuant to Section 551.042 of the Texas Government Code, no board member or administrator may respond to a member of the public regarding an item that is not on the agenda, unless such response is a recitation of district policy or a statement of specific factual information. Our first speaker is John Samniego.
Hello. This is just an address or just really a question that I'm very concerned about, and it's in regards to a local business that came out in the news just recently. Just want to be sure that the district has some measures in place so that no other students are affected with this sex trafficking allocation that's going on. And if any of them have been, or if anyone has reported any of them, if we would consider taking consideration at least to provide some type of therapy, psychiatric therapy or of some sort to help them through that since they were students. And please, most importantly, make sure that there no employees were involved. You know, get into a background of that. That was my main topic. My second topic, guys, we're about to go into the playoffs. Our beautiful baseball and softball fields have no scoreboards. It would be a shame to go, not be able to host a playoff game here locally for the two teams that have worked very hard. That's all I have. Thank you, Ms. President, Board.
Thank you. All right. Now we're going to be moving on to one of the favorite parts of the night, and we're going to be recognizing some student recognitions.
Yes, we are. Will you join me? Coach, I wish you'd have been walking a few weeks ago.
Trying.
Coach, good to see you.
Stand right here and he'll call you when
Sorry, I should have stuck everybody's hand. Sorry about that.
Congratulations to you all.
Feel better? I'm walking so fast.
That's good. Well, we're here to recognize a really special group of of young men. It's our varsity basketball team. We had a terrific season. One of our key players, that's not a player, he's the head coach. I think he thought he was back in high school on a Sunday and tore his Achilles heel. So he was out for the final stretch. And Coach Badetti, you took over, did a great job. But I can't tell you how much I enjoyed watching the young men play, how much they improved, and the sportsmanship that they exhibited on the court was exemplary. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Hello, everybody. Perez Garcia, Coach Garcia. Most of y'all know me. Feeling a little under the weather today, but I wanted to make sure I'm here for the guys. I have some guys missing because they got baseball, they got track, so we only have a few of them here. But just want to talk about this group. This group, a lot of them I had since they were sophomores. They won 10 games as sophomores, and in the last 2 years, we've been 1 game away from winning 20 games the last 2 years, which is a big accomplishment in basketball. It's really hard to get to 20 wins, but we were 1 win away 2 years in a row and stuff like that. But these kids bought in, they worked their tails off. We're always undersized. We don't care who we play. We're going to play hard, and we're going to do what we do. And so this group was, we started off kind of slow, but we picked it up towards district. We're the only ones who could really compete with Bishop, who was the district champ the last 2 years. We should have probably beat them. The game they played Bishop was my first game out. I had just had surgery, and I couldn't be there. I feel bad about some of it because I knew I couldn't be there as much as I would like towards the end of the season, the most important part of the season. But I'm proud of them. I'm proud of Coach Baudette and Coach Martinez, my assistants, for helping out and taking over and doing everything they can to get us in the playoffs and stuff. So really good group of guys. We got a couple of guys who are all region. One is all region. A couple of them made All South Texas, and I got a couple that are more than likely going to play in the All-Star game here pretty soon for the Coastal Bend. So I want to thank everybody who came out to the game, but I saw a lot of y'all at the game supporting the guys, supporting the team, and that means a lot to us, and it means a lot to them. And I try to tell them, Coach is talking about the sport, Mr. Vimage talking about the sportsmanship and stuff, and that's big on me. Like, I want them to be good examples on the court, off the court, and stuff like that. So I tell them we win by 50, we lose by 50, we win by 1, but I lose by 1. We're going to lose and win with respect and with class, and we're going to do what we have to do and just represent our school the best we can. So I'm going to go through them here. Like I said, some of them are missing. I'll call them out, and some of them that I do off the top of my head know what they made. I will tell you what they made as far as their accomplishments this year. So the first one we have is senior Joe Ayala, number 1. Joe was first team All-District. He was third team All-South Texas, and hopefully in a few weeks, Joe will be playing in the All-Star game for the South Texas. Next, we have senior number 2, Ricky Flores. Ricky was our leading scorer. Ricky's really a great leader. He's very quiet, but he leads by example. He was the offensive MVP in District 31-4A. He was TABC All-Region. He was first team All-South Texas. And again, he will probably be playing in the All-Star game in a few weeks. Next, we have senior Noah Bueno, number 3. Noah's a big part. He was the one who gave Joe a break, and Noah came a long way this year, and was a big part of our success this season. Good job, Noah. He's not here. The next one I have is senior. There's a lot of seniors in this. Number 5, Caden Zikafus. Caden is one of the guys that I will use for the rest of my coaching career as someone for kids to look up to. He went from not playing a single minute pretty much last year to this year making first team All-District, earning honorable mention All-South Texas, and he was 1 vote away from being defensive MVP at our district meeting. So he would do all the dirty work. He was the one that would stand in the middle of the lane, take charges. He took 7 charges against Kingsville and won us the game against Kingsville. They were making a little run, and he's the reason why they kind of stopped their run with his charges, his defense. Next we have junior Joaquin Garcia. This is our silent assassin. He does not talk very much. I'm trying to get him out of it.
Excellent job.
He will be one of my returners and a big part of our team next year. I only have 5 guys returning, and he's one of them. He's one of our starters that will be coming back. And last but not least is junior Levi Gerby. Levi was a key part of our backup. He was a great teammate, and he will be a big part of our season next year of our team. Good job. He's another quiet one. That's all I have for the guys that were able to show up and make it today. Again, we didn't even talk about our season. We were 19-16. We were by-district champions and area finalists that's the 4th time in the last 5 years since I've been back that we have made the playoffs. So we're gonna try to keep that going next year. We'll be really young, but we're gonna play hard, and I think the guys will be ready to compete. And with these guys helping out, I know they'll always come back and help out when they can. They'll be vital in our success next season. Thank you.
Let's get a picture.
Congratulations. I'd like to go behind us.
No, y'all get up front.
Everybody want to squeeze in?
Parents, get wherever you need to get. Don't be bashful.
Very good.
Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes. Just.
Congratulations, y'all.
Thank you. I promise y'all won't see me hopping around anymore.
The girls wanted to.
So it's gonna be somebody else, because didn't they both tear their Achilles
Hopefully about a week.
last year, the year before? I watched that happen.
Yes.
I knew about that.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Absolutely.
Me sitting down taking the picture didn't do very well. You too, I will.
Anything you can help you, let me know.
Yes, sir.
All right, now you got baseball. Now we're going to baseball.
All right, the next agenda item is closed session. The board will convene in closed meeting as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act to discuss items allowed by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551.071. The time is 6:14 p.m. And we are now in closed session. All right, it is Monday, April 15th, 2024. We are back from closed session. It is 6:51 p.m.
Madam President, the administration recommends the approval of the resolution and authorize the superintendent and board president to execute the agreed corrective action plan with the Texas Education Agency.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'm going to read the resolution and then do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I want to make sure you, before you read it, enter this into the record, TEA case number.
This resolution for adoption by the board is regarding TEA case number SRDR 2023-05-01. Tolosa Midway Independent School District, a resolution approving a corrective action plan with Texas Education Agency. Whereas Tolosa Midway Independent School District is a public independent school district in Corpus Christi, Nueces County, Texas. And whereas on July 19, 2023, the district received notice from the Texas Education Agency, TEA, of a complaint alleging the district misreported Public Education Information System, PEIMS data to the agency. And whereas the district provided written responses to TEA in response to the identified concerns. And whereas a review of the PEIMS records and data submitted by the district to TEA was conducted to identify the factors contributing to the allegations contained in TEA's July 19th correspondence. Whereas the district's review of the inaccurate data submitted for the fall 2021 PEIMS submission revealed an underreporting of graduated students, and the fall 2022 PEIM submission led to the district's Academic Career Center losing eligibility as an alternative education campus due to the failure to verify the PEIMS data for these reports prior to submission to TEA. And whereas the district found that during the transition to a new student information system, SIS, during the 2021-2022 school year, the district's PEIMS coordinator failed to verify and validate at-risk historical data during the migration of the data into the new SIS, resulting in inaccurate data being transmitted to TEA. And whereas the district addressed this issue by removing the PEIMS district coordinator, and whereas the PEIMS coordinator has since separated from employment with the district, and whereas the district has taken measures to address the submission of inaccurate data, including making staffing changes, providing additional staff training, and creating PEIMS manuals, creating TMISD PEIMS manuals. And whereas TEA has completed its compliance review and has requested the execution of an agreement to implement a corrective action plan to informally monitor the district's compliance with applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. And whereas by agreeing to the corrective action plan, the district does not admit liability regarding the allegations contained in TEA's July 19th correspondence, but seeks to conclude the matter without further delay and expense. And whereas the district is committed to ensure that all future PEIMS data submissions are accurate and error-free, and is committed to complying with the terms of the corrective action plan so that it can continue to provide the best education to its students. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Tolosa Midway Independent School District, that Section 1, the findings and recitals contained in the preamble of this resolution are true and are adopted and fully incorporated by reference as if fully set forth in this section. Section 2, the board accepts and agrees to the terms of the corrective action plan for the purpose of concluding the matter without further delay. Section 3, the board authorizes the board president and superintendent to execute the corrective action plan. Section 4, this resolution shall become effective immediately upon its adoption by a quorum of the board. The superintendent is authorized by the board to take such further actions necessary and appropriate to implement the intent of this resolution without further board action. Is there any more discussion? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? None opposed? Motion carries 6-0. This is approved, passed, and adopted this 15th day of April 2024 by the Tolosa Midway Independent School District Board of Trustees. All right. Moving on to the presentation of the 2022-2023 Education Service Center Region 2 Profit Sharing Distribution Check.
Madam President, members of the board, we have ESC2 board member, Mr. Alex Garcia, to make the presentation.
First of all, thank you very much for Madam Chair, President and trustees and superintendent. Thank you for allowing us to be here today. As you know, we have a Goodbuy program. And the Goodbuy program is where we unite and we purchase items as a group to try to then share the profits in the year. And so this year, we actually covered the entire state. So we actually had the ability, through your participation, to be able to give back a little bit. And so today, I'm able to present to you a check in the amount of
Why don't y'all come up?
$1,770.63. So, on behalf of ESC2, thank you for what you do. It's a commitment, we understand that, and we can't thank you enough for continuing to use the Goodbuy board. And the check will get bigger if we can convince other vendors to just continue to utilize it, so just keep that in mind. And with that said,
Thank you so much.
Chrissy, you want to get a picture?
yes, we can. Here. take a picture of it so I can put it in our,
I can do it.
thank you, man.
You can. Actually, I'll probably hand it to you, Chrissy, because you're probably better at it.
All right. By the way, if you want to check, probably.
Right there.
Yes, that's very true.
I figured that was the most important part.
All right. Everybody squeeze in a little bit more, and if we can shift a little bit this way. All right, here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Great photo. Here you go. Oh, sorry, not done.
One more.
All right, 1, 2, and 3. Got it. Thank you.
And thank you very much. And just, if you haven't had a chance to see your new library, you know ESC too just did the library for intermediate school. So just understand, we're here to serve and we look forward to continuing that collaboration in the future.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Two together.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Don't forget this.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man.
Have a good day.
That was awesome. All right, number 2, discuss and consider approval of the out-of-state field trip request for TMHS Speech and Debate to Des Moines, Iowa on June 6th through the 10th, 2024.
Mr. Alvarado?
Lavina will be presenting on.
Okay.
I'm a Sylvia. The date on there is wrong. It's actually June 15th to the June 22nd. So I'm Miss Lavinia. I am the high school speech and debate coach. We're here to talk today about sending us to Des Moines, Iowa for nationals from June 15th to June 22nd. These kids work so hard all year. They're super motivated. They compete at tournaments to earn a spot to go to nationals, where they compete against the best of the best. Right now, we have 4 who are qualified, and I'm working on getting a couple more qualified next weekend. So we're looking at like 6 to 8 of them going with us. So I brought some of them to talk to you a little bit about the experience they've had and the reason why they think we should go.
So, hi, I'm John Cooper. I'm the president of the program at the high school. And just like the one word that describes nationals is an opportunity. It's traveling across the state or across the country. In fact, the only times I've ever been out of state have been to go to nationals. And you really get an experience not only to like compete at a super high level, but the opportunity to interact with so many people, see a completely different city, and really just get experiences that you can find in no other activity in high school and probably not even until college. You want anything?
Yeah, I'm the secretary for speech and debate, and I'd just like to thank y'all all for having us up here and just welcoming us. But thanks to like the approval last year, we were able to go to Phoenix, Arizona, and we just had a blast there. And it's not just like a purely educational perspective, but it's just great for speech and debate members overall, because this is the capstone of their careers. You literally can't go to any tournament higher than this, and it's just a true prestigious honor to actually like be allowed to compete there in the first place. So we're just looking for that to happen again this year, and just see some like overall like good times, but also just a great educational experience, and have a new capstone for some of these new up and coming just like freshmen, not explicitly freshmen, but this is just an important capstone to them because they can see that we're going right now, and it just creates such a great like zenith for their careers, for them to like just look forward to the future. Because again, it's not like easy to qualify for nationals, but by providing this like capstone, it just motivates all these people who didn't qualify to keep working harder next year and just overall just have something to look forward to in speech and debate.
Yeah, I'm Annabelle Yannick. I'm one of our event captains, and I 110% agree with both John and Daniel. But also, the thing about nationals is that it puts us on an even playing field with some of these bigger 5A and 6A schools. It just evens out the playing field 100%. But it also creates experiences and opportunities that aren't available here in Annabelle and in the entirety of Corpus as a whole. Some of our TM Speech and Debate alumni have gone on to do things like intern at the White House or become the current UTSA class president. I mean, nationals really does offer us skills and opportunities that aren't possible at the local tournaments that we attend here in Corpus.
Thank you so much for all your time and consideration.
I have a question. So I know that the support for the speech and debate is significant. What can we do more? As a superintendent, as an administration, what can we do more? Because one of the things that's unique to me is speech and debate. And when I see our students, the way you dress, your soft skills, it's really, really impressive. And I just want to make sure we do everything we can to support that and keep it growing.
The only thing is really just continuing y'all's gracious support of resources and opportunities. Because as far as 4As are concerned, on our level, Tulsa Midway is one of the best speech and debate schools in 4A. We continually do well when we go to UIL and are merely in our 4A division. We excel. We've had multiple state championships at all these different events. The only real strong competition we face is from schools that are much larger than us and thus have a lot more resources and opportunities in 5As and 6As. So as long as y'all continue to give us the resources and opportunities to compete with those schools who are so much larger than us, then we'll continue to succeed at the highest level like we have for the past few years.
Thank you.
So we compete a lot to local here, but like you said, the locals are kind of easy for us. So it's when we do the travel to San Antonio or Austin or the Valley, or we went to Boston, that's when we really get to challenge them. And so that support has been amazing for you guys. So as long as we can continue that, I think everything will be good.
I have a question for you. You said resources. What would that entail?
Funding opportunities, transportation, anything that allows us to travel to larger tournaments and more tournaments. Because, as Ms. Delavina said, both among 4As and even like South Texas when we compete against some of the other CCISD schools, we have a really strong program. And we're able to do very well in the Corpus Christi area, even among the 5As that are around here. But the true competition for speech and debate is in San Antonio, Austin, and Houston. So like this year, we were unable to attend the Churchill Speech and Debate Tournament in San Antonio, which was a tournament that we've long treasured as a really good opportunity because Churchill High School in San Antonio is pretty much the southernmost major speech and debate tournament. Like you have to go way farther north to really get tough competition. But we weren't able to attend this year because we just didn't have the funds to get the team able to go at that time of year in January because we were having to conserve funds so that we could attend tournaments like qualifying for nationals and others. So we have to prioritize sometimes. So just giving us the opportunity, resources, transportation and such to go farther north or occasionally farther south into those larger population centers where they're going to have tougher competition because there's going to be bigger schools. Just makes us, it's iron sharpens iron. We're just going to be better when we compete against better competition.
You know, but 100%, like, if you go to some of these tournaments around here, you have like mom and dad judges, and they're like, oh wow, you spoke really good. Like, yep, blew them out of the water. And then when you go to like these major cities or even out of state, you have like lawyers and like actual judges and those just type of caliber that can give them really good feedback to up their skill.
Well, and also at the middle school level, our middle school kids are not welcome at middle school tournaments anymore. So our middle school kids, I don't know that everybody on the board is aware, our middle school kids compete at the high school level because we are not welcome at middle school tournaments anymore.
Why is that?
They won't let us register.
Yeah, like at the
They want too much.
at the CCIC middle school tournament.
They didn't like the competition.
So it just goes to show how strong the program
And
is.
y'all have supported that program for a long time. Like over there in the corner, there's a trophy from 6 years ago when I was a 7th grader and we traveled as a team to the first ever middle school speech and debate tournaments for state in Houston. And we got 3rd overall as a team with 13 kids. And the 2 teams that placed above us 3rd overall in the sweepstakes had like, these 20 plus massive teams. We're competing against all these large middle schools from Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston. But TM got 3rd place at the first ever middle school tournament because we've had such great support and great funding and great resources and opportunities delivered by y'all for so long, which is why we have such a great program developing up to the
And we're trying to build that program even more, and the more we build it, unfortunately, the more expensive it gets, because the more kids you take, the more registration and move, money, like food money, all that kind of takes.
Well, congratulations to y'all. And to stand there and speak and answer these questions without any notes or any cards, we commend y'all. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it, guys.
Y'all are gonna do very well.
As they always do. Anybody have any questions? Discussion?
Go show what we got.
Thank you.
All right, is there a recommendation?
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, it is the administration's recommendation that the board approve the out-of-state field trip request for Tolosa Midway High School speech and debate to Des Moines, Iowa on June 15th to the 22nd, 2024, as presented.
We have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll happily second it.
We have a motion made by Ben and a second by Paul. All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carries 6-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
Y'all have a wonderful night, really appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Discussion/action item number 3, a report, goal number 1 in Warpath Academy.
Madam President, members of the board, the strategic plan goal progress monitor number 1 aligns with the Warpath Academy. And when we had visitors from Colorado, and you have some materials in front of you, the presentation that was made by the high school, I wanted you to see. And so they're here tonight, and we will have more guests in the coming weeks. And it's just an opportunity to further your education of what Warpath is and how attractive it is for students to have all these opportunities at our high school. Ms. Colorado? Ms. Moody?
Good evening. Everybody knows Ms. Moody and Coach Fig. Coach Fig has taken over as our Warpath coordinator, and Ms. Moody has taken over all the central office responsibilities for CTE and Warpath Academy, Ms. Garza being gone. So that's why we're all up here today. We're here to talk about Warpath Academy and to show what we showed the people from Colorado with a mixture of some other slides that we have put together. So front cover, you see our dentistry program. That is an example of what we do. This is an outreach program for people in Flower Bluff who are homeless. They come and get free dental care, and our students go and help and assist that. So not only do they get a good experience of, assisting and learning, it's hands-on learning, but they also get to do something good for the community as well. So you have 2 of our seniors there. One of them was actually a speech and debater, Mark Miller. So he will be going to nationals and be able to miss the next one. But it's just really neat to see our kids getting not only what's in the classroom, but a great opportunity to help out the community and a great opportunity to learn firsthand from a real actual dentist on what life would be like in that situation. Okay, so this is really small, but basically this just basically describes our demographics as far as how many kids, I can't even see that.
They have this in their packet.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it.
And really, we don't have to go,
Right.
we don't have to necessarily go over the numbers. The purpose of putting this presentation together was to highlight what we can do for all of our kids. There's different programs, PTEC, ECHS, that target specific populations of students. But through the work, the initiative of PTEC, we were able to spread that to everybody. So everybody gets the opportunity that Warpath Academy presents. And I've done so much learning in the last couple of months, so I'm still getting my feet wet. But these are just some of the figures, who we are, what our demographics are, who we represent, and who's able to take advantage of the opportunity, which is literally everybody. We even did a mini-mester for our freshmen this year.
And what we need to do is, the board needs to see the cosmetology lab.
Oh, yeah, it's a teeny tiny picture on there,
Because
but.
you'll be impressed with it.
No, in person.
Yeah. And
Yes.
anybody who wants to go, I'm more than.
Well, what we can do is we can have a board meeting, start at the cosmetology lab, and then recess and come back here. If you're receptive, maybe next month we can do that, if you all are.
Well, after we do the awards in the pack, right?
Yeah. Okay.
We'll be electrical almost there.
It's gotta be close.
Yeah, so we'll.
He'll make it happen. He'll make it happen.
There you go. Don't go home tonight.
Saw the pictures.
Okay, so basically, what is the Warpath Academy? The Warpath Academy is basically comes down to two particular parts. You have a general studies part, which are high achieving students who take we're trying to get to what's called the 42, which is the College 42 that transfers to every single college and university in the state of Texas. Those are kids that are on that pathway. Most of those kids are our arts kids, arts and humanities kids. So there are theater kids, our band kids, our choir kids who have that in their schedule, but do not really have room for a CTE focused pathway. We do have kids who do both. So most of those kids go to Texas A&M University Kingsville. Okay, then you have the other part, which is our CTE part. So most of those are through Coastal Bend College. So those are automotive kids, our welding kids, cosmetology, law enforcement, all of those kids that get college credits for EKG and phlebotomy. All those kids get credits from Coastal Bend College they're able to finish there or transfer maybe if they want to go to a different junior college. But the goal of that is to get a certification, not necessarily to graduate with an associate's, because that's just not doable for some of them. For some it will be. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question, Gabe. You said that some of these kids go to A&M Kingsville. Do they physically go there?
No.
No, they're on our campus.
Yes.
Not yet, but we sat down about maybe 3 weeks ago now, and our incoming freshmen, we have built their schedule so that their senior year, they will be able to go, and even some of our sophomores this
So
year.
we do have a professor for speech that comes to us on campus.
And then we also have certified
And then we have our
teachers that are our certified teachers that also have master's degree in the content who are teaching on Coastal Bend College's behalf or A&M Kingsville's behalf.
Do you have adjuncts?
Yes.
How many adjuncts do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.
5 adjuncts? And how many of them are ours?
All 5.
All 5 of them are ours?
What is that, Jane?
Adjunct,
Part-time.
They're employed by both.
by college and high school, yeah.
So it's our English 1301, 1302, which is Ms. Covarrubias, Mr. Lowe, who teaches U.S. history, Ms.
Biology.
Waddle, who teaches biology, and then our 2 welding instructors.
And then Cosmo will be.
And Cosmo will be
next
also.
year. So I guess the whole crux of it is that some of our CTE components are not part of the Warpath Academy because they do not entail college classes. So we do have like our ag. They are gonna get a straight certificate that's gonna allow them to work, but there's no college courses associated with it. So those are different. So when you hear the word CTE, some of them are part of Warpath Academy, but some of them are not, because they're just resulting in a certification for that kid, not necessarily getting college hours. So for instance, dental. We self-certified dental. We found that magical unicorn of a teacher who used to be a dental hygienist and is now a teacher. Never really happens, imagine that. But we found one. So she's able to self-certify those kids in dental without having to go through a Coastal Bend College or a Del Mar. And the reason for that
Our
is
graphic design.
right. Those are
our
highly competitive programs.
TMTV kids.
Just like nursing. So we can't get those kids straight in as a sophomore into those programs. They need to put in some work. We make them as viable as they can be. We let them tell I want to be a dental hygienist. I've already got these certifications, let me into your program. As opposed to somebody who's just now starting as an 18-year-old.
Well, I think the big difference, those kids that are not part of a CTE pathway, their CTE pathway doesn't result in an IBC or isn't necessarily part of Coastal Bend College. Those kids are typically funneled into the general studies Warpath. So they're still Warpath kids, but their pathway isn't dependent on it. So it's a little bit different, but I think that's the big thing that makes Warpath so successful. And we were worried about our numbers dipping a little bit, but I think we've discovered that they're not. Because Warpath is built into their graduation plan. So they cannot graduate in their pathway without participating in the Warpath Academy. It is literally designed so that they participate.
Is there a change in their graduation plan?
No, they're still gonna graduate on the foundation plan with an endorsement, but their college, what they are able to get is more.
I
Like
think you have
they're-
to think of it this way. So if I was a Mr. Brewer kid, a law enforcement kid, prior to Warpath coming through, I would take a level 1 course recognized by the state, a level 2, level 3, level 4. So what we've done is we replaced that level 3 and level 4 class with an actual college class that takes its place. That's in line with what they're gonna get, once they graduate from there, they're a certified peace officer if they finish their entire program.
So it fits their endorsement.
Right.
It's in their
Right, they
endorsement.
can't complete their endorsement without using the Warpath.
Okay.
And I think in your packet, we put in there the course description guide. You can see on each course description if it's a part of Warpath. If it's not a part of Warpath, rest assured that those students have an opportunity to be Warpath kids through the general study side of Warpath. And that's like a lot of our kids.
And
They're gonna do the 42
The
core.
degree plans are in there as well.
Yeah.
So it shows them like.
These are all
year-
things that we
freshman
shared with them.
year,
They were like,
Spring, fall, spring, second year, fall, what they should be it's all laid out on those degree plans.
and when we presented all of this to the visitors, their eyes were huge and we're like, no, it works perfectly, it's fabulous. And then after they were like, oh, okay, this could happen, like we could do this. And we spent a lot of time in preparation for the presentation, really talking about our why. I was not a part of the initial planning, so it was really a wonderful conversation for me to have and be a part of. But essentially, it all comes down to, we really genuinely believe this is the right thing for our kids. They're getting the best of both worlds. They're getting a high school experience, but they're also preparing for future, and that future is still pliable. They can still change their future and what they want to do through the opportunities that we're giving them. So if they're not sure if they want to be a dental hygienist, that's fine. Go Warpath General Studies, get your 42 core, and then you can decide when you go off to college what you want to do. And we're able to have those discussions through our counseling department, through Coach Fig, through our administration, and the kids are having those one-on-one conversations with their counselors right now. It's very time-consuming, and you'll hear a lot of talk about PGPs, but that's why the success of the student is so critical, because as soon as they miss a vital piece of that, because it's so strategically planned, we have to redo their PGP, their 4-year plan. So, but our main why is it's what's right. We know that we're gonna attract students. We've already started attracting students. Once we have our beautiful CTE center, I think we really can become a hub for different districts to come and get the things that we are doing for our kids. And we're very aligned with our market, our labor market. So we did, and it's part of what we have to do through CTE, a labor analysis, and it aligns with the growing industries in our area.
Once we posted the Cosmo pictures, I had 5 phone calls the next day. Not only for students, but also people wanting to teach, like, do you have somebody? We're like, right now we do, yes, we're good, but there's calls coming in. All,
Let me
and our
ask you a
numbers, oh my God.
Like you just said, other school districts to use our facilities, do we get credit for those
Okay,
kids?
so this is
How does that
what,
work?
let me
I may be jumping
walk
in on
you
that
through
side.
that a little.
Well, no, I'm just wondering, do we get paid?
Yeah, but we're all sitting here thinking the same thing, I think.
As you may or may not know, I was the leader of the Rural School Innovation Zone, which ultimately created legislation that J.R. Lozano sponsored, where schools that are 1,600 enrollment and below, if they collaborate with other school districts, they receive not only additional funding from the state of Texas through foundation funding, but they also receive tuition from the schools that send them there, and the schools that send kids here still get their ADA. So,
But we're a larger school than that, so.
that's where we're coming.
Okay.
So with my dialogue with some of the people at TEA that they're still there, and through other consulting industry entities throughout the state, the next plan is not only to have this for rural South Texas, but also there's a need for efficiency and more pathway options for suburban kids. That's where we come in. So what we need to do is add to the legislation to bump the cap up so that we could partner with a Cal Allen or a Robstown or a Gregory Portland or whatever. And instead of duplicating, which is an added expense to the taxpayer, we can specialize.
And offer more programs.
That's the plan.
Gotcha, that's great.
Right now, yeah, that's more benefits, but the current loss has, for recapture school districts, it's an option. To not send it, not
And I think the other thing we wanted to, I think, you know, in talking, we had our principals advisory committee today, and in talking to the kids, you know, we were talking about Warpath Academy, and we were talking about just having an honest discussion about what it's like for them, and they say it's hard. It's harder, they're struggling with it a little bit, and that's a good thing, you know, so the number 2 is the one that really hits home for us. We want them to struggle with us. With us being there to guide them and say, okay, it's time to get working, it's time to do this, so that they don't go to their freshman year, bomb out, and then they're just done. So we're really pushed for them to have the opportunity that if they do indeed fail, there is a way back. And I cannot tell you how, you know, Texas A&M Kingsville and Coastal Bend College bend over backwards to make sure that they were able to come back and we find them a way to get back on track. But, you know, and hearing them, there are a lot of kids in that group who will be first generation college graduates. I mean, a ton. And that, I'm not sure if they could do it without our help. That barrier of going off somewhere and the very first moment I get some, I don't know what I'm doing.
Adversity.
Yeah, then they're out. So, you know, I think that's the biggest benefit is that, okay, you had a rough spot. We'll get you through it to the next semester, and then we pay attention, we make sure that they're doing what they need to do. But our grades were great. I mean, we outperformed the freshman class of A&M Kingsville. So, I mean, we had like an 8% completion rate.
And our drop rate was way lower than the freshman class, like 25% higher. We were better by like 25 to 30% than the freshman class at Kingsville A&M.
And our kids are struggling with us. I mean, it is taking somebody saying.
And there's several layers of support too. Like, why
I
don't you
can't log
highlight?
in, have you called, like, I can't, and they don't know, because they're used to coming to us as high school teachers, fix this, and we fix it, you know, and one person can fix like 3 or 4 things. They have to know, I tell them, every day, you have to check your email, every single day. Professor today opened up all missing assignments. If those kids don't check their email, they're not gonna know. He is allowing them this week to redo any, from day 1, missing assignments, anything that's a 0, you complete it, you email me, and I'll go in there. But if they don't check their emails, and some of them are like, oh, I didn't, you know, I can't fix the tech problems, call the tech, they don't know those things. So that's why he's saying, you know, struggle with us, telling them where to go. There is a search button on every JNet, Cougar Den. Like, I do my transcript, go and put transcript, and a link will just pop, can you do it? And like, no.
Stacey, why don't you tell them about the layers of support they have? So we trained, our training
So
with
we
our
brought,
facilitators.
with Kingsville, again, like Mr. Alvarado said, they have been so helpful. Miranda at A&M Kingsville, Matthew at Coastal Bend, he's come on campus with the Flex program that we just started with the freshmen that passed their English or math. He came in one day, we had 2 sessions, a morning and afternoon, walked them through it. This is how you get into Blackboard. We also, before school started, as a staff development day, we had Miranda from A&M Kingsville come on campus and go through everything with our facilitators. Because some of those facilitators are the welding teacher, the business teacher, and they're not, I mean, they've been to college, but it's been a while and things are different. But they actually walked them through it and said, this is where you can guide them and show them. You can't log in, it's a tech issue, call the tech desk. You know, I told the kids, put that in your phone, you know, 593-HELP, 593-HELP. Your professors, well, I can't log in, but guess what? You have a TM email. Use your TM email, trying to get them to understand not just with the classes, but everything. If you reach out to your professors, you never know how far that's gonna go when it comes time to, you just don't know, you know? And not just like the classes, but just everything. If you are proactive, if you are reaching out and they see that you're trying, you don't know, you know? So that's trying to get them into that kind of thinking. But I think Kingsville coming on campus, Coastal Bend coming on campus, talking to the kids, talking to the facilitators, has really put us in a better situation, a position to get them ready for when they do go far, far away, that they're not back home by Thanksgiving. Because now they know, and I can tell them, okay, if it deals with your grades, guess what? Registrar's office. If it deals with finances, guess what? Business. They don't know. They're learning with us, so when they do go out, it's not a complete to them, hopefully. That's the plan.
So these are those two separate sides of Warpath. Think of it kind of as an umbrella. The general studies side, which is the 42 core, and the Warpath CTE side. I won't spend a ton of that, but this is all, everything that we outlined.
And
You
that's,
do have this in your, this is how specific we are. The kids know from their freshman year exactly what classes they need to take. And if they
Yes.
if they don't make it, then there's a backup plan, and we utilize Apex for that. We utilize our staff, we utilize our summers, we utilize mini-mesters. I mean, every single opportunity that we can possibly provide for kids, we are providing it.
and the Apex is huge. That's what we told the Colorado educators for, especially like the Cosmo. That's a 6-period day. They're not gonna have time if they don't get some of the classes.
For economics and
Government economics. So utilize the summer Apex to get those classes taken care of. So come senior year, you have that 6-period window to take Cosmo or to take whatever, you know, the welding, all of them, the law enforcement. You can go on campus and do the shooting range and do this or do that because you have the opportunity, the time to do it. If they don't knock out some of these classes through Apex, it's not gonna be a possibility for them.
Stacy, let me ask you, so are we allowing kids to go through Apex to get primary credit so that they can?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have a whole summer school now planned for that very reason. We have students who are gonna knock out Spanish 1, Spanish 2, health, speech, world history, economics, government.
Economics.
So they have the
No
option.
testing.
No
No,
testing.
no.
subjects.
But they'll have the opportunity to take that credit, that way they can afford, we are running into the good problem of kids wanting two
Multiple
certifications.
endorsements, yeah.
So we have a welding kid who also is in
Business and industry.
or in ag.
Ag.
And they'll need a double practicum. Well, that's 4 periods. And then I gotta work, I gotta show pig, I gotta do everything I have to do, and we have to somehow fit that into a senior year that's not crazy. So we do that by allowing them to knock out some credits at the beginning. And it puts them in a better situation because they're not as stressed out. Most of the kids' senior years will be, I
In the
would
fun
say,
stuff.
the junior year will be killer. But their senior year will be a lot more hands-on learning,
What they
like
wanna do.
going to be the dentist, there's a lot less theory, a lot more hands-on.
Practicums.
Right, so it's beneficial for the kids in general.
Do we have any kids on the law and for the science, technology? Or any of these kids, any of them already graduating with their associate's degree?
We have some that will be close,
Very close.
but
So
definitely
next year, we will be seeing.
probably the
kids-
sophomore class, you will see,
One more.
right, you will see, especially in automotive, associates who we had quite easily.
Law
Well,
enforcement numbers
Law
are
enforcement.
high, like there's a lot that are
So-
wanting to do that. But we have 2 seniors now, who are very close.
They'll be like a class short.
Yeah, maybe.
There were some great classes added when I was going through the book and looking at all of the classes that were added. Because like you said, y'all send home this paper that gives the 4-year plan, right? My daughter thought she's gonna do senior leave early, senior arrive late, all of these added courses. Yeah, no,
we
those
have-
things are
we
over,
have a
absolutely.
student- so we have a senior
those were
right now.
great stuff that's being added.
We met with her and she had it all, like she said, take away my teacher's aide, take away my senior leave or late arrival. I wanna take as many, and she had her whole, I was like, okay, girl, okay. But she wanted to
Impressed
take.
with the extra classes that
take
have
on
been
everything
added.
she
And
could.
TEA kind of helped us with some of that too. because they've added some different pathways, and we're really excited for those two. We're gonna work with one of our new industry partners for an industrial mechanics certificate, industrial industrial mechanics, and so those kids through that pathway will earn wind and solar technician, what is that thingy?
AC plug.
Yeah.
All
I mean, there's there's so many certifications that they can get just through that. And it's gonna be an initial startup, but I think our industry partner is gonna help us with some of
Well,
the
this
startup.
is a great marketing tool for us as a district that, like Mr. Amechi's trying to, recruit kids to our district. So we have to recruit them in the 8th grade, so that we
Really,
can get them into
seventh.
these, or 7th, so we
Yeah.
can start, banking on these programs, because, just to say you graduate with an associate's degree from TM, that just gives you,
And
it's
not just
huge.
other people from other districts, but like I can tell you, the numbers that I got today from Kingsville and Coastal Bend, just for new students, just our TM kids we saw it and was like, whoa, it's good,
Yeah.
but it's also like,
A conversation about how to take the book to Dr. White in a little bit.
because Kingsville alone, we're looking at 1,040 classes
That our kids are signed up.
that our kids are signed up for right now.
I have
And then
to-
Coastal Bend is 698.
I have to say something, that I was really concerned about how well our kids were gonna do through using the Warpath Academy and going through Kingsville and all that. And I'm really impressed at how well they did. I
The
really
award
am.
ceremony that we had at December break, and we're gonna have it again and the seniors will be presented at the senior awards. We had 3 with a 4.0 average, taking 12 or more, no, 15, 12 or more classes.
Well, I was really worried.
And then like 38 had the 3.65, and then 30 something else. It was like 80 something kids. And she even said, Miranda said, y'all have gone above and beyond what we even thought was.
Well, congratulations, because I was really skeptical. I said, I don't know if they can come up with.
There's some who are struggling, but
Yeah.
they're gonna figure it out. But there are a lot who are just really,
And I think
And I really like the struggle with y'all.
yeah.
I really
I
like
don't know that
that.
we emphasized enough the layers of support that are there for kids. Because not only is it our campus level support with our staff, our facilitators, then the classroom teacher, then the counselors, then Coach Fig has met with every single kid in Warpath Academy. And it's also, the facilitators have been trained in the college supports. So they have writing helpers, and they are able to hook them up with the college level supports also. So it is a whole well-rounded approach to helping these kids get through this. And being completely transparent, kids that we thought, oh, we can't allow them to take dual credit classes. I mean, they're struggling with us. They are not even passing some of their class. Those kids are flying through some of these classes because they're interested in them. There are things, I mean, and yes, they are hard, but they're working through those challenges and they're real.
I got some
Yes.
welders who will be, like you said, the first in their family. This is gonna be their out of getting out and making a life for themselves. And they're like, I mean, they were my Apex kids too, and they, but they found something they're good at, something they like, and so they come in.
Successful.
Can you unlock my Apex test? I'm not Apex, but yes, what class? Okay, go. But they're doing what they have to do in the Apex, they're doing what they have to do in their high school classes because they want the welding.
I guess that's really the ultimate goal is,
Yeah.
when you want kids to get them to want more for themselves, we're
Yes.
doing that in spades now. And so when you look at a school district, I think that there's nothing that anybody offers that compares to what we do now.
As a matter of
And
fact.
I've been told that by
the
a parent at
service-
Whataburger. She said,
The
y'all
service
are
center-
above and beyond.
Yeah, we had a meeting
Surrounding.
with our ESC, they came in and just, that we wanted them to kind of audit our pathways, just to make sure that we're doing everything that we should be doing. They said, you're doing too many. You've got to back up, there's just too many opportunities for kids, and we're like, nope. We're gonna plow through and we're gonna add more. And they're like, you're adding more? I'm like, yes, we're gonna continue adding, whatever the labor market says, we're gonna continue adding those, because we want our kids to have that opportunity. So I know my kid is gonna be dual endorsed. She wants to do 2 different things, and so she's taking summer classes, and I think that opportunity is there for our kids. And it's articulated, it's communicated. The kids know, and if they don't know, they're asking because their friends are talking about it too.
Well, it's not only that, the parents know too, because they're getting messages. So we're all working as a team to do their struggle now, right?
Today, Kingsville put out a story, and I know, Miranda, can I share this? She goes, absolutely. So because it included all the schools, I mean, it just recently got put out, or released, and she's like, we're listed as one of the schools that participating and partnering with Kingsville, and it's like, we do appreciate, because like, some of these kids would never.
They would never even
have-
attempt.
mm-mm, yeah.
And, you know, if we can get them through the door just to try, we've done our job, get to succeed, then we're even better.
And then
so
they go
it's-
and finish up at Kingsville,
Right.
which it's a win-win, or Coastal Bend, whichever way they go. I think it's something they never thought was possible.
I mean, you'll have kids earning adult salaries at the age of 20. You know, and
It's
that's.
exciting.
That
That's big for
industrial.
them.
Oh, the industrial, he was like
Oh my
80,000
gosh.
off, I was like.
thought, well, are y'all offering classes for girls? 80,000
We wanted to sign
starting.
up that day, we were like.
Still in our t-shirt.
He was like, everything in this room, 100,000 starting, we're like, okay.
And that's just with like the singular IBC that comes out of that, the singular certification. They'll leave that program with like 6 different certifications and 6 different field choices that they can go into. A wind turbine technician is like
Lineman.
through the roof, and those are all things that are coming to
Yeah, I'm
the
not getting
coastal bend. So,
I'll
But
steal
what a
it.
blessing that they're already seeing success prior to it coming out of their parents' pocket.
As a tax-paying citizen of this district, because I live here, I truly appreciate it.
You will go to Kingsville.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, that the more kids we can get through their first couple of years of college here, man, it helps the parents, it really does.
Absolutely.
And then ultimately, hopefully stay, you know, that's what, I know Dr. Vela has mentioned in meetings before. We get people from Houston, Dallas, they educate them and then they go and take it, you know. If we can get them here through us, started into, go finish at Kingsville, go finish at Coastal Bend, and then stay surrounding areas, but at least stay
Right,
home.
and, you know, and talking about the job market, you've got Tesla, the what's the cracking plant called? I forget what it's called, the hydrogen cracking plant that's in Portland.
across the,
You've got all this little area that's just about to explode with industry, and you'll be the premier high school that's getting them what they need with everything that they've got. It's pretty exciting stuff. You know,
And that kind of goes back to the whole number one, our strategic plan, is that we wanted to be able to say 90% of our kids in 5 years are graduating with these particular skills. And we're at a really good place with that. I know we're not exactly where we wanted to be. We wanted to have some baseline data at the end of this year. But what we decided to do was take a step back on the graduate readiness profile and really involve students in that process. So we're doing that with our middle school advisory council and our high school principal advisory council. They're sitting on my desk, we want more of this, we need this, this is a great idea. And so essentially, we are sending kids out into the world with a tangible resume of hard evidence that they can do these jobs, including their IBCs, their industrial-based certifications, including their resumes. I mean, everything will be in that one spot, but that's kind of a different conversation than here, but it is applicable here. The kids will literally leave here with everything they need to be successful. So in the rest of the presentation, because I know that we probably weren't supposed to go this long, but you have listed there are endorsement areas and then everything that we certify under those endorsements, as well as what is Warpath and what isn't. Again, reminding you that even though it says they're not Warpath, that just means that there's not a specific dual credit in that area. There's not an AV Tech dual credit class, but those kids are still in the general study side of Warpath. And then we wanted you to see our numbers, I think is the.
right way at the bottom.
Okay, so this was as of middle of the year, and this number is gonna skyrocket, I think. This includes your completion data, the number of students that attempted, the percentage of students that completed successfully. I don't know if you want me to go over those numbers specifically, or if that's just information that you have to look at and.
Is there like a downside to the 20% that I guess, failed at a university class.
Well, I think if you put it in perspective of, when you went to freshman orientation, they said, look, the person left you, the person right in one is not gonna be here, and that's still pretty true. About 50% of your freshman class is going to drop out. We're at 80%. So,
Well, and that
But I mean,
20% still has a chance.
Like, I think you're only allowed like 6 dropouts. Well, the failure is not a dropout.
but see, that's the great thing about no credit, that doesn't matter.
Oh, really? Okay, that's my
Until-
question.
Until they're out of high school, I mean, we don't want them to have unlimited drops and unlimited withdrawals because they're expensive, but none of those numbers figure in until after they graduate high school. So if they have to drop, we still have the opportunity to not have that count for them, as long as we do what we need to do in the counseling department, and we're doing that.
We've already met 2 of our deadlines with Coastal Bend and with Kingsville, and it wasn't as many as we thought. We still have one more deadline with the flex classes. They have until April 24th to withdraw with the W.
And then they changed the like funding strategy for community colleges. So is that helping like Coastal Bend College even more want to do like these mini masters or things like that? Or are we just talking on
So those
the
are-
prereq side?
They're actually getting paid now for micro-credentials, which is a whole nother piece we'll have to explore. And it's really not based on more of associates, it's how many certifications you can knock out for a kid.
Yes.
So they're exploring how they're gonna build that, and we're definitely gonna be on board for what they build. So you might see a complete change in community colleges to where it's no longer about getting your associates. It's about how many certifications you can work with at a hospital. It's about what can you do in cosmetology, is it,
Just what that industrial mechanics
Right. Do I get-
setup is supposed to do.
The hair,
It's
the
like
wax, the facial.
Right, is it
Nails.
those, or
Nails.
are they gonna break it down? Because if I were a smart person, I'd say, I'm not gonna offer the cosmetology, I'm gonna offer micro credentials in every single one of those little bitty areas of nail, hair,
Specialties.
specialties, whatever it might be, and get paid more money, as a Coastal Bend College, to give those micro credentials. So you might see that, we don't know what they're gonna produce, that law's fairly new.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be on board for whatever they do, as long as it turns into an IBC for us. Does everybody know what an IBC stands for?
Industrial-based certification.
So if you get one of those, that gives us a CCMR point, which helps fund this monster that we have created. So
It's a
it's.
snowball, not a monster, sir.
Well,
It's
Port
great.
Phillip is a monster, so it's,
Don't
but,
look at these numbers.
that's what they're looking for. Your traditional colleges have started FAST program, which helps us. So if a student turns in that free and reduced lunch form, they just get with us, and their tuition is done. We don't pay a thing.
Which
We
is
pay
about
books.
47% of our students that are in Warpath.
So it's beneficial for us as well. Coastal Bend College will be on that next year, with their FAST program.
Kingsville has also made an agreement with us that they're gonna pay half of one of our Warpath people's salary because we have so many students, and we promote A&M Kingsville, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's good.
They're
Also,
so fabulous to work with.
They're actually coming on campus Friday to help with the registration for the fall for all the new kids, which is 188. Just for Kingsville.
It's new kids who.
New kids who have never taken a college class.
and then just coming attractions, they don't know this yet. Next week, Newsweek's doing a national profile on Warpath, and Colorado's coming. Colorado, when is that interview? It's next week, right? And then West Texas has, there's some districts in West Texas that are taking advantage, they're smaller than us, they're taking advantage of the funding, but they want to come to TM to see how we do things because we offer so much and we're really good at what we do. And then Colorado called and they're going to bring 15 more people back to look at what you're doing. So when other people want to come
Congratulations.
and see what you're doing, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. So, we owe it to this group. Thank you.
think Mahogany deserves a lot of the credit, because like I said, I came in December 21st going, what?
That right behind you.
And then every email to Kingsley was, I'm sorry, and they're like, stop, apologize. And I was like, well, I'm learning, but I think she got the ball rolling, and we're just trying to keep it going.
Really, I really
Y'all did
think.
it quickly.
Oh,
The
flex.
push to do it though was, I think, the big thing. The same thing, I mean, we talked a little bit about dual language, but the same thing with dual language. I mean, we needed a grenade. We needed a grenade, and it pushed us to move quickly and do things right. I would give anything for my college freshman to have had another year with us, because I know he could have done something more with his high school diploma. And I've got third graders. I can't wait for industrial mechanics to be up and running for my little boy twin that's probably could put together a electrical circuit now if he tried. But I just think there's so many beautiful opportunities that are happening here. And we don't brag enough as a district. We try, but these opportunities, I think, are what's gonna set us aside, so.
And they're asking for more, like with the Cosmo, the boys are like, what about barber? Like, they want a straight barber school, I was like, it's a component of the Cosmo, and you never know, and it might develop to where there's a need, and we have a full.
There were some in here.
Mhm. There are some barber classes as a part of it.
Yeah.
I saw some of them are worth different credits. Is that a semester?
They're 6 weeks, so they're like stacked classes. So while we're in well, now it's 9 weeks. While we're in a 9 weeks, they'll accomplish 3 to 4 of their, I guess, coursework. So they'll spend 4 weeks on nail tech. They may spend 6 weeks on hair color. We have
Yeah, she has it all broken down.
We have it all broken
She got
down,
the school
but-
calendar, and she went and highlighted and said, week 1, 2, 3, 4, she has.
And so
she has
while
it
they're
all
in the
laid out.
cosmetology lab for 6 hours a day, they'll work specifically on that skill set. So within that classroom, she may have some kids working on color and some kids are still on their nail tech stuff. But so within a 9 weeks course, they may have 4 certifications come out of that. Or 4
For college.
college courses that are
So the way we labeled it is that they're in a cosmetology lab.
I see.
And after they finish a course, it gets posted to their transcript as Nail Tech 1 with the grade. But it's not necessary because we just don't match up. We're a 9-week, they're a 4-week program per class. So it's we have to make sure clock hours, so if there's an intersession in there, that class has to run a little bit longer to make sure that we reach the number of clock hours that the state requires. So, but that's gonna be true for welding, so on and so forth. As the micro-credentials thing takes, and I fully believe it's going to change the way we do everything here, we're gonna need a lot more flexibility in our PEAM system to handle that.
I see you scratching your head, and as soon as you said PEAMS.
But we'll get it figured out.
So your plan for summer will definitely change how we report for summer PEAMs, so.
Yes, it's definitely we'll figure it out. We always do.
and then the Compass Academy numbers for their completion. I tried to list like how many seniors were there, but it changes so frequently. The sophomores quickly become juniors and the juniors quickly become seniors. So those numbers are very fluid. So if it doesn't add up to 24 total students, that's why, because they may have started as a sophomore, but now they're juniors. So like all of our kids that started as sophomores are now juniors. Some of them are juniors, seniors, so. We've already had 2 Compass graduates.
And several have gone down to the 5-period day, and they come, Miss, I'm down to 5 period. I'm like, okay.
And they do appreciate it. They're able to pick up extra shifts at work. A lot of them are. Just had a conversation, one of them who worked till 4 in the morning on Saturday. I was like, wow, Taco Bell is open. So, but I mean, that's what they're doing with their time. It's not like they're just lollygagging. They're actually taking advantage of it.
I like that everyone pretty much has an individualized plan now. Is it more work on our counselors when that plan changes, or does it go through the CT department, or do we already have plan A,
It's
B,
a
C, D?
combination of both. So yes, we have a plan, but some kids it's just different. They have a different pathway. It depends on what they are not successful at and what they are successful at. So if they fail in English 2, well, there's an EOC. So they can't go the Apex route. Well, they'll go Apex, but they have to have support in that Apex route. Whereas if they fail a CTE pathway credit, we can help remediate that with them. It depends on what they're successful in. And our counselors have been instrumental in the last probably 6 weeks, really getting into the work of CTE pathways and completers and CCMR and all of the things that we don't like to talk about necessarily because it's funding based and it kind of removes you from the kid part of things. But we are going to be more efficient and we are going to generate more funding in the next 2 years.
I think the other thing is that you have to figure it out as a kid. When we want them to graduate, they have to complete level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4
And a
course.
4.
So kids are accomplishing that more quickly with, with Warpath. If they take 2 classes in a semester, well, that's their level 3 and level 4, and they're kind of done with their endorsement quickly. Not necessarily done with the program, but they've accumulated enough classes to we can call them a completer. So it's that part too. So a counselor's got to pay attention and say, okay, you might have dropped the level 3 course, finished the level 4, so now I've got to find the level 3 course that makes sense in your schedule.
That's where the
that's where
time,
it gets real tricky.
But the minute they come to me and I officially drop them, it's here's your schedule, I highlight it, I write up, sign it, everything, go through your counselor, and then they're sitting there going in and putting, okay, what do they need to get, what can we get you enrolled in, whether through Apex or whatever, what can we put you in now so you can at least get, if not the college credit, at least the high school credit.
And then finish your endorsement.
And then finish, yeah.
Can I ask you something? And this is just off subject, but it has crossed my mind. How much funding do we get for CCMR?
So it's funny, we were just texting about this. I worked on the numbers for our current class completers because we're only talking about seniors right now. We'll get to juniors in a little bit. Out of 255 that were here in Snapshot and are still here, if we follow the plan that we've created for each kid, which there was 22 kids that would not generate a CCMR point, or would not be a completer, our funding for our economically disadvantaged kids would be about $545,000. And our funding for our non-economically disadvantaged kids would be close to $300,000. And I didn't know our special education numbers at that point, but we will generate an additional $2,000. So we're for each of those students. So we're upwards around $700,000 to $800,000, but that we won't see that for another 2 years. That's the current kids reporting, so 2 years from now. Looking at our CLNA data, we're not gonna quite generate that much right now, because we reported during that what did we call it here, the remote year? Not the initial, but the next one, we reported 79 CTE students. So we only have an opportunity to gain CCMR from those 79.
There was a lot of acute PEMS issues that we are still struggling to get through. But I think we've got a better handle on it now. I know we have a better handle on it now, knowing how to properly mark a kid, properly making sure that they have every checkbox. There's safeguards for that now.
Involving the classroom teachers too.
So you'll see that we'll be much more efficient. I think the most we've ever generated, maybe as a district for CCMR, is around 350.
It's a little under 500.
Right, so we're gonna be well above that now because we're just taking full advantage of how we're coding kids the proper way, which is crazy, but.
And holding students to the plans we create for them.
We have 6 middle school students coded as CTE currently. By summer submission, we'll fix that because all of our middle school students go through their first initial CTE course, which is a college career readiness course. So all of those kids could be generating participator funding, which is at a 1.1 weight. So those are opportunities that we're going to continue to work through and fix and identify and move forward. That was our agenda for the day. Those are all
That's
the
it.
rooms.
Those are the classes we
Yeah, thank y'all so much.
Yes.
Good job.
Great job.
Great job.
good.
It was a lot of fun.
Did we get their questions answered? All right, number 4, discuss and consider approval of Autism Awareness Day for the district.
Madam President, members of the board, this was a trustee request. I have the SPED administrators here to answer anything.
It was my request. I would like to see the district go back to bringing awareness to autism as April is Autism Awareness Month. April the 2nd is Autism Awareness Day. And I know people don't like to say, well, in the past, we used to do this. But this district did recognize autism awareness. And all it is information to the district to say, wear blue for autism awareness. And on a specific day, it's optional, you can or you cannot. But the fact that autism is it is phenomenally growing in our population of special ed. And I think that the more people that are become aware of what that specifically is, and this is my take on it. If it's not in your family, you're not aware of it, you don't understand it. But at some point along the line, the way that it is going, it's going to affect every family. Somewhere along the line, it's going to affect a family. So all I wanted to do was to have the district, and I don't mean to have recognition of those kids, because those are a federally protected class of students. I don't mean that. I just mean to have the district designate a day. We're in the middle of April, to designate a day for the district to become aware of our autistic population. And all I'm saying is encourage people to wear blue for autism awareness. Simply that. Doesn't have to be, of course, like I said, no student recognition, nothing like that, because they are a protected class. But just to bring awareness to the district, because it is phenomenally growing. Autism is a thief. If you don't have an autistic, my grandson is autistic. He's 23. He has the mind of a 5-year-old. And I'm telling you, if you don't have that in your family now, you will. Somewhere along the way, somebody you know, your own, your future grandchildren, it's going to be there, because it is phenomenally growing. And I just wanted to do that for the district, to become to just recognize autism awareness. And I know, like I said, people don't like to say, well, we used to, but we did. Tolosa Midway did have it was a designated day in April to say this particular day is Autism Awareness Day.
Well, I have something to say also, can I? I want to thank Janie for bringing this up. At the same time, I think we already have a World Day, which is April the 2nd, which would be a great day, right, to honor that, because people already do a few years back, it was a big push for the light the blue, your outside lights at the homes, put a blue light bulb. I would like to go a step further and see, the stadium in blue, because, they have all sorts of different lights. Light it up on April the 2nd. I know we missed it this year, and I would like to see a date still acknowledged this year, but then go back to the actual April 2nd date. If it falls on the weekend or the following Monday, for the school to represent, autism awareness. And that day, April the 2nd, it's a huge day for a lot of people.
And we actually did. So April 2nd is the day, it is World Autism Day, and that's the day that we always choose. Our department pushes out, we created a flyer. It's lighted up blue, that's the theme. And there was a flyer that was sent out. It was placed on all of the administrators as well as district administrators, about 28 people's calendars. And we add the flyer, and we also posted it on Facebook.
Was that something that was district-wide?
Yes, ma'am.
I did not see anything.
I did not see that either.
Well, that's the problem right there then. If we have something and no one knows, then we need to make sure that doesn't happen.
I said, it was not on the Toloso Midway ISD. It was not on there, nor the high school, nor the middle school, nor the primary school, nor the intermediate school, because I looked at their Facebook all day long. So I'm sorry, I don't know what
Chrissy
face.
verified that she had posted it, I don't know, but,
Well, that's
but
not
it
here or
was,
there,
it
right?
was, we always pick that day. If you would like a different day, we could do a different day, and we could do the same thing, and then,
I like the idea of lighting up the stadium.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
I think that's an awesome
I
idea.
think we can do that.
I think Parent Square, I think we could even go maybe a step further than just, maybe on Parent Square, I think it would be a great idea to maybe send out a fact sheet, right? So that parents could actually be aware of the day, put their kids in blue, and then also as a family, be able to talk about autism awareness around your table or wherever you do your talking, in the car. All of us do our talking to our kids at different times in different places. But to put out a fact sheet so that we can make more people aware.
we could do that, yeah. I mean, when we, like I said, we always create a flyer. If it falls on the weekend, then we'll do it a different day, either the Monday or the Friday. But we always do it on the World Autism Day, which is April 2nd. But if y'all would like to pick a different day, that's fine. And then we will ensure that it continues. We've
Let me
always.
tell you what I'd like to do, Yolanda. Since we obviously didn't do enough to create awareness, particularly with the board, I'd like to have something where we close April with a bang for autism. So let's get together and let's find something that would be a really, really good, positive awareness, of course, not recognizing kids, but bringing,
No, just like to wear the blue.
bringing awareness that this is April Autism Month. It doesn't just have to be a month, doesn't have to just be a day.
Yeah, it
And
could be
let-
the whole,
and
and
let's-
I've seen
and let's
people
move
wear, throughout the month, they've been wearing shirts, little ribbons and stuff, so I've seen it on the campuses, but we can do something to ensure
We'll do
that there's more awareness.
Chrissy just showed me where it was posted. I did not see that, and
Sure.
it's on the district page, is that what you said?
Was it prior to April the 2nd?
Yes, it was.
Yes, we
it was
did
in
it so
March.
that they could have some time, it was at the end of March.
Yes. I
Just
see
so
that.
that they were aware, because we didn't want to do
No,
it
I
on that
understand.
day.
Okay, well, let's say you did that, but on April the 2nd, there was no recognition for World Autism Day.
Yeah, we just pushed it out so that
Well, I
people could
understand.
wear blue on that day.
I just think that it, like I said, this is.
And I understand, I mean, we can do
Yeah,
something.
and it's not, like I said,
And
not
I do
recognizing.
see, yes, it is affecting, I mean, I have a grandchild who has autism
Yeah,
too, so
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, and it's just, they don't have a voice, so the least we could do is, just say, hey, it's Autism Awareness
We'll
Month.
do
and-
something before the month is out
Okay.
to ensure that.
It's the last day of the month.
Well, I'm going to challenge the board at the special called board meeting coming up for everybody to be in blue.
I have a blue autism shirt, I'll wear it.
On the 29th,
Yes, sir.
we're going to hire a primary principal on the 29th. Hopefully we'll hire one.
The 30th is on a Tuesday.
And the 29th is
It's
a
on
Monday.
Monday.
Okay, we'll get with Yolanda and Rick and
And maybe it's better on a, like, not on a Monday, because sometimes, like, that'll
People
give the
forget on
campuses a
Saturday.
day. And I think that might have been what had happened too, because I want to say April 2nd might have been the day that we came back.
It was the first day
Like
back.
that.
It was the first day back. You're right, because we weren't in school April Fools.
Yes, so that might have been why it didn't receive as much.
I don't even think we had school that day, did we?
No,
had-
teachers were here.
Monday on the 1st, and then school started.
School started on the Tuesday,
teachers
that's what I'm saying, maybe it's better not to do it on a Monday, and that way that if it's, let's say we do it on a Tuesday, the campuses can really.
Remind.
Yes.
And it can be any day. It doesn't have to specifically, the 2nd is the World
Yeah.
Autism Award, but it doesn't specifically for recognition,
Yeah,
doesn't
we
have
can
to
do
be
it any day. And I would, like I said, I would just rather not do it on a Monday.
No,
That way we
no, I
can
agree.
have the campuses.
Okay, we'll move forward with that.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
We'll do it on the 30th.
Discussion / action item number 6, discuss and consider, number 5, discuss and possible action on graduation procedures.
Madam President, members of the board, this too is a trustee requested item.
Yeah, I requested this, when I got on the board in 2020, I've been trying to get this on the agenda for a while. I know there's traditions that have gone on for years at TM. I just think that on this certain thing, and what I'm talking about is when the actual graduate walks across the stage and they're met with a board member to take a picture. Well, this year I was told by even a friend of ours that I actually took the picture with her kid, we're friends, but they bring up a good point. 10, 15 years down the road, I still have a picture on my wall of my graduate, and that guy, I don't even remember who he is. And so that was one of the concerns that I've had from several people, not just one, is that why can't the student take a picture either with the high school principal that has been more involved with their last 4 years, or by themselves if they elect to take a picture by themselves. I mean, they're not 5-year-olds, they're actual graduates. They can stand with their diploma there, take a picture, and if they want a board member to take a picture with them, I mean, I don't think it would be that hard to have a master schedule at the beginning of the line, because you all have a schedule anyway. The kid comes with a little tag, the name, all this kind of stuff, and somebody can just reference a board member, yes or no. So I'm requesting that the student and the parents have an option to take a picture of their students alone on the stage on graduation night. That's my request. And I think a lot of people would love to take advantage of that, because no matter what, the board members, we do know a lot of kids. Like in 21, when little Ben graduated, I took a lot of pictures with kids I knew. In 22 I didn't, in 23 I did, because my other son graduated. And I tell people I've done a lot of things in my life, but those were the two things I've done that I'm most proud of ever doing, was giving my sons their graduation picture. So it is, it's an honor to do that, but they're my kids. So taking pictures with other kids and they're like, well, yeah, I guess I'll pick him because, I have to take a picture with a board member. Well, let's give the kids an option, and the parents, I think you'd be surprised how many parents would say, you know what, I would rather my kid take a picture by themselves, because 40 years down the road, it's their graduation picture, not their graduation picture with a board member who they have very little interaction with and maybe not even know who they are. So that's just my request. So, I'd like to be able to take action on it.
It's not an action item.
Okay.
I will say this, I view graduation as a high school operational function where the high school principal and the high school faculty generally dictate the operation of the graduation procedure itself. I don't see it as a board action.
Well, that's fine, but that's my request. I mean, if nobody agrees that I don't understand why it would be an issue to have a board member request that the kids have an option to take a picture by themselves. How about if they don't want to?
I don't think it is. I think if the high school it's your meeting, I can't recognize.
So when I just graduated from Texas Tech with my MBA last year or the year before, and so it's picture with the provost, right? Provost college. That's with your degree, and then you have your diploma tube, and you walk down, and then they take a picture of you, and then they do a million different backdrops, and they email you those, and then you can purchase like whatever you want through the picture firm.
That would satisfy your request, if we could do something like that.
Yeah, I just wonder how chaotic it would be for the staff.
I don't know.
because we all know how fast they run through them, right? Because we're like switching places all the time while we're on the stage. Maybe taking one by themselves, because they do take pictures at the beginning of the school year, but you're right, they don't have their diploma in their hand. Maybe if there could be a second person on the side to take one with their diploma, that's actually a pretty good idea. Because I think on the stage, it could get really chaotic of not knowing.
What's the purpose of having a board member in the picture?
I was not a part of having a board member stand there. When I graduated from TM, it was the superintendent that gave me my diploma. So I do not know when the procedures changed. Do you know when they changed?
You want to enter in on that, Mr. Alvarado, the conversation as far as graduation?
My thing would be, it's just time. So if we go over, I believe it's a $3,000.
We almost missed the.
That's right.
So if the thing on the side doesn't really affect us, switching back and forth would definitely affect some time. So if you're asking for what the changes we're already making to graduation, that we're doing this year, that are, I'd have to really think about how much time that's gonna, to take. Cause if we go over 2 hours, it's a hefty fine.
I know that the Val and Sal came to me, well, no, the Val, I don't know if she's gonna be the Val, but she said, can the top 10 be in white gowns? And the answer was, that's not a superintendent decision. That's a high school decision, but you have to be sensitive to the tradition of the maroon gown for TM. That was the best answer I could come up with.
Yeah, well, I would think that if we could take, I mean, because even if the board member's taking a picture with a student over here, the one over here on the right-hand side or right in front of the board members, we can move out of the way. We don't have to be right there or have another different backdrop for them there. They could take that picture at the same time. Two people can be taking the same thing.
I think they could put a backdrop right before they give me back their empty.
Exactly.
Before they give
I
it to me.
think like I said, that's more doable.
Yeah.
Our stage is gonna get kind of crowded. After talking to the kids and hearing their requests, we are gonna have the entire top 10 on stage. They will get a stole. Your Val and Sal will be up there and they will be in white.
Oh, so they made that request? Huh?
Yes, so we decided to honor it. It's their day. So we're gonna be a little crowded on the stage to probably put a backdrop. Off the stage, I think there is a definite point to where we could put a very nice background and they could, I'll have to check with the photographer to see if they can do both.
Well, you know, Dave,
At college, they had it off stage, down the stairs.
Right.
First thing you did before you ended it back.
But we
We can remove the directors and create more space because it's their night.
Yeah, it's about the kids.
Yes. We can make that work for space. I really like that you're doing it. It's the first I've heard of it. I like it.
So, but we definitely can do the double picture. I don't think that's gonna be a problem. I just don't know
So the student will have the option of which one they want to buy with the board member or both, you know, who knows?
You know, the reason why it's, you know, we talk about, I know Rick and I are discussing, there's maybe it should be the principal, but we have two principals. And we need to be respectful that the ACC principal has a very big part in those kids' lives. So I would hate for that to be one of us and us having to switch back and forth. I think we're fine where we're at to the side. As far as a board member or the superintendent or whoever it might be, I just think the kid needs a handshake when they get their diploma. You know what I mean? However you guys wanna work it out, that's fine, but for us, I think the private.
I don't agree with you on that. I think the principal should be upfront with the student, not the board member. That's just my opinion. So I don't agree with you on that. I think us as board trustees should be in the back. And, you know, whether, we've done it before where Mr. Ametri has changed some things where we all line up and shake everybody's hands. We did that, I think this past year also, we shook everybody's hands on the way out. Yeah, so we can play a part. I just feel, but I can see your position where you would have an issue with saying, well, you know what, I'm gonna take the picture and not the board member. But I agree that the principal should be in the picture, not a board member. That's just my opinion.
Because mine was with the board member when and I didn't know who he was.
Exactly.
When I graduated high school, there was I graduated from Carroll, there were two separate backdrops. Kids came from both sides and they were called like this. And on both sides, there was a photographer with like both Texas and United States flags. And then you switched your thing and you stood there and took a picture like this. My mom still has it on her mantle, I think.
But it's of you.
But that could be done, I think, rather
I'm just
quickly
saying
and easily.
with the ACC kids, and Miss McLaren's playing a vital
Ms.
role.
McLaren can come up, she's on stage anyway, she could, just like the board members, we'll tap each other. Hey, she could come tap you and say, hey, you know what? This is my student, I'm gonna take a picture. That's very easy.
Yeah.
But, like I said, like he said, it's your call, so.
If it's space, they could go down the ramp, but then to get the things back.
I know, I just, personally, I do enjoy the moment with them when I shake their hand, able to talk to them, and I really couldn't do that posing with the picture. So selfishly, I do like to have that conversation of, hey, great job, congratulations, glad you finally made it, which you can't really do while just shaking their hand. Maybe Mr. Van Meter can do that part, I don't know. We'll think about it, we'll let you know we'll come together and talk about it.
Well, at least a secondary photo would.
That we can
would work
definitely
for
do.
me.
I just need to talk to the photographer and making sure we have a second photographer.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah, I'm sure he will if he wants to get paid.
Yeah, he'll make a lot of money on that.
He might double up on that.
He'll run with
Kim had asked the question, when did that change? It was like that before I even got on the board, so I don't know when they changed it, because if I remember correctly, when I graduated just a few years before Kim did, a few years, it was over here at the Jim Cooper, and if I remember correctly, it was the superintendent that gave us ours.
Ours was Samaniego, mine was Samaniego.
Oh, Dr. Nelson gave me mine.
Yeah.
So
There
it's
was a
interesting. I don't remember how the process worked.
Yeah, it was the superintendent.
A lot goes on during that
Even
night.
The
He was
superintendent
the
has more
board
interaction
president.
with all these high school students than the board members, or I'm not saying all the board members, or I'll speak about myself, than I would, you know what I mean? So,
And I have to say, I don't know any of the seniors, not this year.
not this.
I don't know any,
I know
so.
And I will tell you, the kids do say, who was that?
Exactly.
Who was that?
That's my whole point.
That's your board?
If you don't want to do, because you're afraid you might take too much time, well, Mr. Van Matry is very professional as far as shaking hands and stuff, so, but at least the kid has the interaction with that administrator or the superintendent versus, not that I want to knock the board members out of the scene, but I just feel like the students have worked so hard, been around you guys for the last 4 years, and with Van Matry for the last 2 years, because he's very out there. So I would just like to see the student, 20 years down, hey, that was my superintendent, or that was my principal, or my ACC principal. They're gonna remember that. When they see one of us, they're gonna say, well, exactly what you said, who was that,
Why don't we come back and present graduation protocol to the board? We can do
That's a
that.
high school decision.
Yeah, it would be nice to hear the changes too.
Yeah.
That are being made at the
We
student's
can do that.
request.
We can do
Not
that.
really white, come on.
Gold.
We had thought about gold, it's just really hard to get in that fast once we announce. And we're back to a 9-week system, we probably could pull that off, but given the fact we'd have to get it in within 2 weeks, white's a pretty standard color.
All right, y'all good?
Thank you.
Okay, number 6, discuss and consider approval of the TEA TEAC certification 2024 to 2025 form.
Mr. Van Matry, board members, this is just an annual formality at which point you all ratify what we've submitted to confirm to TA that we are in fact teaching 100% of the TEKS in all contents and subjects. And in addition to this form this year, which is new from last year, phonics is now included with RLA. So the state's trying to streamline the curriculum and textbook adoption process as well, in conjunction with kind of recreating the TEKS certification, which now is in two parts. For you all tonight, the form is brought for your ratification / approval, and then that will then get flipped and turned into the official submission through the Qualtrics survey, and then that's how the state captures our TEKS verification, in which, like I said, we are teaching 100% of the TEKS in all contents and subjects. And so you have the form in front of you. That's an entire list of what we plan on purchasing and intend on using as far as primary and also supplemental curriculum for all contents. So if there are any questions about any of that, or just questions in general about any of the curriculum,
Quite a list.
yeah, very comprehensive, and of course, captures the HQIM that we have moved to. One mention I can say is that at the high school, we're going to continue on keeping things as such, and we're going to continue to monitor HQIM as a possibility, but as of right now, we're going to keep things the way they are due to the success we've had with the accelerated courses.
Any questions?
Correct, I thought HQIM was not optional. I thought that was something that was required. That's not such. No.
It's not necessarily required in the sense that the state tells the district that you must do this. It's more of an option. As of right now, it's highly encouraged to go in that direction. In fact, they're incentivizing the selection of HQIM by creating double buckets of new revenue funding from EMAT and IMA. And so districts that are using HQIM will get an additional supplemental extra $50 per student in the area that they're using HQIM. So that's now in RLA and in math. And so we have two new revenue streams coming our way since we are currently using HQIM in both
Didn't I
areas.
introduce part of that at the beginning of the school year? Because I thought, to my recollection, some of the teachers were having trouble keeping, so that was dissolved? That was, no.
The intermediate RLA and math, totally HQIM.
Okay.
Middle school REL and math, totally HQIM. Primary only math.
Okay.
They have not transitioned to Amplify yet.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, do we have a recommendation?
Madam President, members of the board, the administration recommends that the Board of Trustees ratify the instructional materials TEKS 2024-2025 form as presented.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion. The administrator recommended the Board of Trustees ratify the instructional materials TEKS 2024-2025 form as presented.
Do I have a second? I have a motion made by Paul and a second by Leo. All those in favor? None opposed, motion carries 6-0. Number 7, discuss and consider approval of TEA designated innovative courses.
Dr. White?
This is another annual where you'll see this from here on out on a yearly around this time as we continue to build the master schedule and students are selecting their courses for the new school year. Part of what was already presented tonight with the Warpath and the CTE and some of the newer career courses that you all have had a chance to kind of look at, this is just a continuation of that presentation, but as a separate item that does require board approval so that we are in compliance with the state as they approve the innovative courses at their level, and then at which point that opens up the district opportunity to select from what's already been approved. And then, of course, as you all are being kind of brought tonight, those courses, you have a chance to ask questions or just engage in more conversation about what that will look like. But given the fact that we kind of already presented a lot of that up front, that kind of goes together, that a lot of these innovative courses will be part of Warpath, which we are kind of, again, backing up to that conversation that we're pushing and wanting to expand and enrich those opportunities through those courses for all of our students.
Can you talk about the leadership class?
What would you like to know about it?
it's our own, that one's not affiliated with the
By
college?
leadership, you mean the PALS course?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's like Pals Pals? I didn't know it had a double A.
that's the trick.
Pals. Okay. No question.
I was like, I want to know more about this leadership course you're talking about.
So I think you got a list of the ones that we are currently in use, and then the new ones that are wanting to be added. All of them just need a thumbs up from you guys.
Any other questions? All right, do we have a recommendation?
I do. Madam President, members of the board, the administration recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the list of innovative courses to be offered to Tolosa Midway High School students for the 2024-2025 school year.
A motion? Ben makes that motion, I'll second that. All those in favor? None opposed, motion carries 6-0. Moving on to number 8, discuss and consider approval to update all special education cameras.
Mr. Hernandez?
Madam President, board members, good evening. Back in 2015, Senate Bill 507 was passed, and it required cameras, surveillance in the special ed classrooms. It wasn't immediate that we had a request for the cameras. It was sometime later. Unfortunately, at the time that when we finally did get a camera request, we didn't invest in a high-quality camera system. It was just kind of piecemeal because we started with one classroom, and then as the request came on, we added on to it. The video that we were using in the main building for surveillance was through Insight, and we went with a lesser quality camera system for special ed at that time. We're experiencing, as we're going to review request right now, we're experiencing glitches in the video, and we're having problems with audio on at least 2 of the cameras. So it's time to upgrade the system. At this point, my recommendation is that we went through the whole camera selection for security, and we went top notch with the Visualon. And it's recommended that we just use the Visualon system, their servers, for the special ed. It's a completely independent system. It has its own servers. It's viewed by very limited people. It's the principals and David Wilshire. I don't even have access to those cameras. I can tell you where the cameras are located, but I couldn't even tell you what any of the views look like. It's just, they're in desperate need of upgrade.
Funding?
Funding will be through the safety and security grant. It's through the cameras. I had anticipated the cameras costing quite a bit more. We've actually saved money so we can afford this.
Good addition.
Because we're ordering, I guess, all the special ed cameras along with just all campus cameras through the bond, right?
Through the bond, but it's 2 separate.
Yeah, I understand there's two, but from this company, we're getting a whole lot of cameras. Is there any way for us to expand our warranty to at least like a minimum call out per campus or something like that?
Well, that
Because
will
of the
definitely
amount that
help,
we're purchasing?
Yes, it's definitely gonna help. By using the same camera system, it will help with the warranty and stuff like that. As far as the pricing and stuff, I've asked, they've given us their best price that they can, because the cameras do have a cost and the cabling and stuff like that. So we're getting the best that we can.
I think, Denise, are you asking if the warranties can be expanded based on the
Yes.
volume?
Yes.
I can reach out to them. Right now, everything comes with a 3-year warranty, and I can definitely ask if they will extend it any.
I guess on the special ed one, it said 1 year. And it wasn't through,
It's through the cameras, but through NCS, it's 3 years that we're getting all
Okay.
this stuff.
Can we get that in writing?
Yes, sir.
And this is procurement, this is the cooperative purchasing,
Yes, sir.
which
Yeah, it
means you
says-
don't have to bid.
Yeah, 1-year workmanship warranty.
I want to make a comment on that is, I want to thank Mr. Van Matry. Should have never been a lower quality camera, right? But, okay. So let it go, and I want to thank you for making sure that everything's going to be top of the line, Patrick, and because, It should be. They shouldn't have secondary anything for those kids. Comment. But thank you.
All right, any other questions, discussion? Okay,
Madam President, members of the board, it is the administration's recommendation that the board approve the special education cooperative by board purchase and an install of Vigilon cameras through Network Cabling Services, NCS, in the amount of $94,199.70.
do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. It's a good thing, good thing.
I have a motion made by Ben and a second by Paul. All those in favor? None opposed, motion carries 6-0. Next on the agenda is to discuss and consider approval of consent agenda informational items. Number 1, check payment register. Any questions on that? Number 2, March 2024 financials.
You go first.
No, I was just, we talked last meeting about the shortfall we were gonna have in our funding for the, I guess it was the transportation, we said we'd probably do an amendment to the budget. Did we discuss that, or?
We were talking about the shortage in the SHARS funding,
Sure, there you go.
but I haven't done it in
Okay, but we plan on, we're not gonna, do we have enough, I guess, projected shortfall that we could make an assumption and treat it like a contingent liability, or?
Well, I either have to, I know we're gonna get the low funding, usually before the end of the year, I usually wait till the end of the year and do like one big adjusting. But if I come through now, I'll just have to take the $500,000 out of fund balance.
Right. Well, it's gonna come out anyway, right?
Right,
Out of fund balance.
right.
I just think it'd be, we know it's coming, so it would be nicer to see it now and plan accordingly.
Based on the encumbrances, you're 2.33 below budgeted expenditures. So that's a good thing. But we're about $600,000 below attendance projections because it's about 2% and a percent's about 300,000. And then we've got the SHARs. So even though we're making treadway towards balancing the budget, we've been hit with the SHARs and the attendance. But there's some other good news. And we are 10 students away, and we will get there, because if you look at the enrollment from last year, from about this time to the end of school, it drops. We are going to be, for the first time since 2018, we are going to have a higher enrollment at the end of the year than the preceding year. That hasn't happened since 2018. The other thing that you will notice when we do the budget, and it comes to you, is there'll be a significant amount of employees that we budgeted for that we're not going to need because of attrition and scaling down some programming. I'm not optimistic that we're going to fully recover or even halfway recover from the initial deficit that you voted for. Where I am optimistic is what the budget's going to look like for 24-25. It may be a deficit, but I don't think it's going to be nearly what we see with 2.7. And I'm also fairly optimistic that in January, when we get through the civil war between vouchers, which we have to get through that, that we'll see an increase in funding. So that's where I see our budget situation. But But your point's well taken. You either do the budget amendment now or you do it later.
Yeah.
'Cause it is
See,
gonna have to
I
be-
just think the sooner we recognize it, it looks better for us than to see it hit at the end of the year and we may have other things.
I think that's a point well taken.
Yeah.
We can move forward
Okay.
with that. That's all I have.
Was that your question also?
That was one of my questions. The parent directive tutoring grant, that was like $41,000. We didn't utilize that, or what?
I can speak to that. The reason why you see that number there is because as we came out of COVID, the idea was to have that prescriptive, intensive tutoring. But unfortunately, I think what TA failed to recognize was that the market was like void of having enough tutors to where grants such as the parent-directed tutoring could like fund and support tutors in all the various locations as part of the grant requirement. Because that's what the money was intended for, was to be spent on tutors.
Wasn't that from the Dell Foundation? Yes.
Yes, in the
Yes.
sense that was kind of a offshoot of the COVID funds, was that kind of response. The problem we had was we were able to satisfy the other grant requirements with the money, but when it came to the tutoring, whether it was their failure to pass our portion of the background check, whether it was just able to schedule them, they would kind of work for a little while and then end up quitting because they realized quickly the tutoring wasn't the money that they were looking for. And so it seemed like it was just a rock hard place the entire year as we kind of tried our best, and then we would get a little bit of progress and then we realized our tutors would quit or they didn't pass our background check for some reason. And so we just ran into those issues. And so as it turned out, we were only able to do so much. And so that's the reason why we're having to send the money back, which we're kind of in line with the surrounding districts that were awarded that grant, so.
But we are using Amera.
Yes,
Which
which is
is
separate
also
from that
part of
grant,
it.
but that's part of what we
AI
were
reading
using with
instruction.
the tutoring portion to support Amira. It's just the tutoring thing didn't really work out the way we wanted it to.
And then, can you talk about the guidance and counseling overrun? Or compared to where we're at today?
Is that function 31?
That's a big one.
It's like double what we budgeted.
I have to look at it. I don't have that.
Do you need a board book?
Isn't that 31? I'm showing 55%.
There's one that's 225%.
Where is that?
That's special revenue funds.
Oh, okay. I'm in the wrong. I'm in the general fund.
What the,
So that
so he can know,
counts.
so he can know what page.
It was page 4 of the financials.
Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, there
I
it
need to
is.
write page numbers for my question.
It's right. He said it's number 4, it's on schedule.
You have it in the packet, Philip. It's not page number 4.
I don't have a packet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's in the special revenue. I'll tell you that it's not, there's no fund, I'll have to look into that. If you look at the individual funds, since they're special revenue and they're not adopted by the board, they don't have to, they don't follow the normal functions. Because most of the federal funding, most of the special revenue funds, they don't go by function, TA goes by major object. So I'll have to see, there's something off. We don't have all the funds allocated to the right function. They're allocated to the right program per the NOGA, but it's not to the right function. I'll have to look into that.
Okay.
I'm thinking it might be special ed, that maybe all the diags and the assessment people that are charged with special ed, the budget's not sitting in a function 31 account. It's in a payroll account, but it's not in a function
Yeah.
31 account.
Okay.
Because if you look on the next sheet, which shows the individual funds, none of the individual funds are over budget.
It's on 55.
All right, so you'll get back with us on that one, right?
Yeah, I guess I need to get the budget aligned, so that variance will go away.
Okay. All right, so we've already talked about number 3, budget amendment. Were there any more questions? Number 4, quarterly investment report. Nope.
This is our, I guess, the last quarter before we start using the firm we hired?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 5, tax collection report. Leo, you good over there?
Sorry?
You good over there? Okay. Number 6, enrollment report. And number 7, regular and special called board meeting minutes. I didn't see any problems with those. All right.
Madam President, members of the board, it is the administration's recommendation that the board approve the consent agenda items as presented.
I have a motion. A motion made by Ben. A second. Second made by Leo. All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carries 6-0. The board will now convene in closed meeting as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act to discuss items allowed by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551.071-.076. .082, .0821, .083, .084. Would the board like a 5 or 10 minute recess, or would you like to go into closed session immediately? It's at the pleasure of the board. Okay. It is 8:44 and we are in closed session. It is 9:32 p.m. and we have reconvened from closed meeting. We do have action resulting from our closed session deliberation.
Madam President, members of the board, it is the administration's recommendation that the board approve the educator contracts as presented.
I'll make that motion, please.
Motion made. I have a second. All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carries 6-0.
Madam President, members of the board, it is the administration's recommendation that the board approve the certified personnel contracts as presented.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carries 6-0.
Madam President, members of the board, it is the administration's recommendation that the board approve the non-Chapter 21 contracts as presented.
Do I have a motion? Leo makes the motion. I'll second that. All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0.
And Madam President, it is the administration's recommendation that the board approve the resignation of district employees as presented.
Do I have a motion? And a second? All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0.
All we have.
Let's see, we have a special call board meeting April 29th and then a regular schedule. Yes, and wear blue on April 29th and a regular scheduled meeting May 20th, 2024. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Ben, and always have a second by Paul. It is 9:34 and this meeting is adjourned.